Hey guys, my name is Wed. It's common knowledge in the Destiny community that the Prismatic Titan is not in a good place right now. And even Bungie admitted this, and they said they are looking into it. That said, Prismatic Titan can still be enjoyable, and there's a lot of possibilities to make it work to your liking. In this video, I'm going to show you what I have been running as a Titan, and it works really good. Therefore, I would ask that you give it a try. First thing you need to know is this build does not require any exotic class items. Especially I know a lot of people have not acquired exotic class items yet. So, no exotic class items, no problem. But you can use this build to get your exotic class item as long as you can find someone to do the mission with you. In any case, this build is extremely flexible because of the exotic that we are using. In fact, you will be free to use any super you want, any weapon you want, and tackle any content you want. All of that said, let's start with the exotic that we are using, Precious Scars. Not a new exotic, but it's been one of the best starting exotics for a few seasons now. The armor perks, Kintsugi. Final blows from weapons with a damage type matching your super create a burst of healing around you that grants allies restoration. After reviving or being revived, you gain an aura that provides overshield to you and nearby allies. We are not worried too much about the second part of the exotic perk, especially if you're going to play solo most of the time like I do. That being said, you just need to decide what super you want to use and then choose the weapons that match your super. And whenever you kill anything with those weapons, you get healing. It's a really tanky business, especially in normal activities where enemies die like flies. But we definitely are not going to rely simply on the exotic to get healing. And now that you understand what we're trying to do here, let's go over the subclass and everything that makes this build works. So of course we are using Prismatic, and you know the deal, so every class got their own type of grenade. And for the Prismatic Titan, you got Electrified Snare. You got both Arc and Strand. So whenever you throw that grenade, then you're going to be suspended and they're going to be jolted. So anytime you have the opportunity to use your Prismatic, just make sure you use it. It's going to do you wonders. Those are the Prismatic. And then for the abilities, as you can see, we are using this suppressor grenade. Now, I have to say this, you have plenty of options. You do not have to use everything that I use here, but what I've used here have been working fine. But you can choose to use different things. Now, I'm using these suppression grenades because not only this grenade is very good at suppressing enemies, but it also, because it is void, it matches really well with this seasonal artifact. In any case, suppression grenade is our choice, so that's what we are using, and it is very good. Now, you're going to understand that when I start talking about the aspect, you're going to see those benefits of those grenades. Now, for our melee, we are using the shield throw. Now, you can choose anything you want, but it's been working very good for this build. So whenever you throw that shield, you get an overshield. And as you can see in the description, you grant overshield for each target you hit. So throw that shield whenever you feel like you need some damage reduction. And it works really good. And as far as, the movement ability, you can use whatever you want. Barricade, you can use whatever makes you happy. I use the towering barricade, but that's what works. Now, for the aspects, again, I'm going to keep saying this. You don't have to use those. You can use anything you want. Now, I'm using this because it is really good for the build. And also, Diamond Lance is really, really good. Now, a lot of people don't know that you can just pick this thing. You can either throw it or you can smash it with a lot of enemies and it's going to freeze them. And plus, you get 3 slots for your fragments. So that's the reason why we are using this. There's a lot of benefit to using this. And the second one I am using is Dranger's Lash. Again, you still have other ones that you can use. I use this just to add some strength abilities in the build because whenever you pull out your barricade, you can suspend the enemy. So that's also a defensive measure. That's why I'm using this. But again, you can use all the other one. I know everybody's using Consecration. That's fine. You can use that if you want. because you have that option. But I am using this one. You can give it a try and see if you like it. If you don't like it, just use one of the other ones. I'm sure you will be fine. Like I said, the build is really good. This is a very good build. Now for our first fragment, we are using Facets of Dominance. We are using this grenade. Remember that we are using a suppression grenade and it is void. And also the prismatic grenades also have arc. So you can see right here, your void grenades weaken targets and your arc grenades jolt targets. So whenever you throw your prismatic grenade, you also have the arc part of that grenade that can also jolt targets. So you are good to go using this. And with the suppression grenades, you're going to weaken the targets, make them easier for you to kill. So this is why I choose this fragment. For our second fragment, we are using Facet of Honor. We are using this not only because it gives us that plus 10 in strength, but also you can make use of those elemental buffs that you get on the ground, and you're going to have a lot of those by using everything else in this build. And then whenever you pick those up, you get Transcendence energy, and you want your Transcendence as often as possible so you can just spam that thing whenever you have it. So this is why we are using this. Now, for our third fragment, we are using Facet of Dawn. This fragment is very useful, especially if you are going to higher difficulty. As you can see, whenever you use your shield, you're going to use your shield a lot, then you're going to become Radiant. And being Radiant allows you to have weapons with more damage, and also you can use this to just stun barrier champions. This is overall a very good fragment you can make use of for the build. And for our fourth fragment, we are using Facet of Protection. This is a very popular fragment because you get those damage reduction. This is very good, especially when you have a lot of enemies that are around you. You'll get that protection, so take this whenever you can. For our fifth fragment, we are using Facet of Devotion. This not only gives us that plus 10 in strength, but also we are using the stasis aspect. We're going to have those lenses on the ground. Pick them up, then we're going to debuff the target with stasis. This is all around a very good one. Plus, if you're using a strength weapon, you're going to have that strength debuff. So you're going to have Transcendence energy all over the place. So this is a very good one. Again, you have option. You can choose something and that works for you. But this one has been working for the build. And then for our last fragment, we are using Facet of Awakening. This one not only gives us that plus 10 in resilience. That means we can just shuffle our armors around, but also we see what it says. Rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blows generates an elemental pickup of the matching damage type. Remember, I was talking about those elemental debuff earlier, so that's why this synergizes really well with the build. And you're going to be using weapons of both type, dark or light. And then this is going to be all around a good option for you to choose. Then again, there are so many options for fragment. You are not limited to this one. And lastly, we're going to talk about this super. Now, like I said before, you have the option to choose any super that you want. I have used different super with the build and all of them work fine. I first used the solar, then I choose stasis, and then I finally settle with arc because we have Thunder Crash. This is a very good super for that big damage on bosses, even though you're not using that chest piece that gives you the biggest damage, but Thunder Crash is still a very powerful super. And plus, like I said, you can use this so you can use weapon that's going to match your super. So we are using an arc super. So now let's go over the weapons and armor. Now for our first weapon, we are using the Call, but you can use any other weapon that you want. The Call is one of the most popular weapons nowadays, and it hits really hard. It is very good. And on our energy slot, we are using an arc weapon. Now this Centrifuge is a very, very good weapon for this build. Now, if you don't have Centrifuge, it's okay. You can use any other arc weapon that you want. In fact, I'm going to show you some other option. You can use the Risk Runner. That's a very good one. And then you can also use the new sword. If you have one with the arc conductor, this is very good. I tried all these options and they all work really good. So you are going to be fine. Even if you're not using arc, you can choose other weapons. When it comes to arc, there are so many options. It's ridiculous. You can use the Indebted Kindness. If you have one, you are going to be fine. Again, I am using Centrifuge. If you have Centrifuge, I would highly advise that you use it because it's really good, especially if you have the catalyst. This is going to be very good because this weapon is really good for this build. But I'm not gonna just limit you to just use this weapon. And for our every slot, we are using an arc weapon. Now you can use any of the arc heavy that you have. And sometimes I use Thunderlord because you can get a lot of damage with this, especially on bosses. Now, because I'm using an exotic for the energy slot, then I have to use a legendary weapon in the heavy slot. And this one is very good. You can use any other ones that you have available. You are going to be fine. Again, like I said, I sometimes use Thunderlord, but then you have to switch to a different legendary weapon here and you will be good to go. Now, when it comes to the artifact, it's going to be whatever you want to use. This is what I'm using. Then they all work, but I'm using the galvanic armor. This is a very good one. And you can choose anything you want. So I don't want to spend too much time on this. Now, if there is one perk that I would suggest that you use with the build is this one right here, Expanding Abyss. And as you can see, it says void sources deal increased damage to weakened target. Remember we were talking about weakening target with the suppression grenade and all those things. So this is a very good option if you want to use it. I use it from time to time, but sometimes I forget to use it. But remember, it's an option you have available to you. Now, when it comes to the armor perks, we normally let people choose whatever they want. As long as you get the stats that you want and then use whatever armor mods that is going to benefit you, that's what you got to use. So I won't spend too much time on this, but I will leave the Destiny Item Manager link in the description. That way you can just check it out and see all the mods that we are using. Just use mods that is going to benefit you. Like for instance, these mods right here, like this one grants crash ability whenever you cause damage with a grenade and you're going to use your grenade a lot. And then this one, causing damage with a grenade, reduce your melee cooldown. So both of those work really good if you want to try those. But again, you have so many options. I don't have to tell you what to use when it comes to those things. Now, one thing too important to note that if you want to just use your ammo efficiently, then you can choose to use certain perks like the Strain Scavenger. Now, you can use Arc Scavenger if you want, but I use the Strain Scavenger because I am using the Call, which is a strand weapon. So that's why I'm using this. But if you decide that you want to have more ammo for your heavy, which is an arc, then you can use the arc version of this. And anything else is based on whatever you need and whatever you want to use. But I'm just showing you just to show you, you have option. I think, guys, that's all you need to know. I hope that you give this a try, and I think you will like it. And you will see that the Prismatic Titan is not too bad. It's probably not the best, but it is also not too bad. You can take it to any content and you will be fine in any case. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps. I will see you guys in the next one.